Shocking. The 10 most controversial black wives in the world. What if I told you that behind the diamonds, the red carpets, and the perfect smiles lie stories darker than Hollywood ever dares to admit? From explosive divorces and courtroom scandals to betrayals that shook entire industries. These black wives have carried fame on one shoulder and controversy on the other. Their names are powerful, their choices unforgettable, and their legacies impossible to ignore. But before we dive into the most shocking stories of all time, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, and turn on notifications so you never miss the truth. Phaedra Parks. Phaedra Parks was born on October 26, 1973 in Athens, Georgia, and grew up to become one of the most polarizing figures in both the legal world and the entertainment industry. Trained as an attorney and known for her sharp wit, she quickly rose through Atlanta's social and professional circles. Before joining reality television, Phaedra had already represented high-profile clients, and even worked on cases involving celebrities, giving her an aura of sophistication and power. But once she stepped onto the set of The Real Housewives of Atlanta in 2010, her reputation would never be the same again. On screen, Phaedra presented herself as the quintessential Southern belle, dressed elegantly and armed with the manners of a true socialite. But underneath the pearls and polite smiles, viewers discovered a woman who could cut deeper with her words than most could with actions. She built a reputation for delivering scathing one-liners, calculated shade, and perfectly timed confrontations. Yet her life off-screen was just as dramatic. She married Apollo Nida, a celebrity fitness trainer and ambassador, only to watch him sentenced in 2014 to 8 years in federal prison for fraud schemes that cost nearly $2 million in losses. Many fans initially sympathized with her, who wouldn't pity a wife raising 2 sons while her husband faced time behind bars. But the narrative shifted when accusations began to surface that Phaedra herself had been involved in unethical practices. Former castmates claimed she spread a malicious rumor that fellow housewife Kandi Burruss and her husband Todd Tucker had tried to drug and assault another woman. The allegation, later proven false, destroyed trust on the show and led producers to cut ties with her entirely. By 2017, she was fired, cementing her reputation as one of the most controversial figures in the franchise. But here's the real question for you. Was Phaedra simply playing a TV character, or was she revealing who she truly was behind closed doors? Her ability to manipulate legal jargon and frame her words carefully suggested a woman who knew exactly how far she could push without facing lawsuits. Critics argued she weaponized her legal background, using her knowledge of language and liability to craft lies that were damaging but difficult to prosecute. That kind of cunning turned her into a villain in the eyes of many, reinforcing stereotypes about ambitious black women as dangerous and vindictive. Supporters, however, insist she was merely a brilliant strategist navigating a cutthroat industry. After leaving The Real Housewives, Phaedra attempted several comebacks. She made appearances on Marriage Boot Camp Hip Hop Edition and even The Real Housewives of Dubai. She also focused on her sons Aiden and Dylan, often posting about motherhood and personal growth. Her estimated net worth of $6 million still reflects her years of hustling both in law and entertainment. Today, Phaedra Parks stands as a symbol of contradiction, an educated professional who fell into reality TV's darkest traps, a devoted mother who faced humiliation, and a woman whose name still sparks debate years after her departure. Whether you see her as a victim of editing or the mastermind of her own downfall, there is no denying she remains one of the most shocking and controversial black wives in reality television history. Tami Roman. Born Tamisha Akbar on April 17, 1970 in Mount Vernon, New York. Tami Roman entered the entertainment industry with grit and determination. She first gained public attention in the early 1990s on MTV's The Real World Los Angeles, where her outspoken personality instantly made her stand out. But it was her later role on Basketball Wives LA that turned her into one of the most recognizable and polarizing women on reality television. Tami's path to fame was shaped by her personal life. She married NBA star Kenny Anderson in 1994, but the union was far from perfect. By 2001, their relationship ended in divorce, marked by reports of infidelity and financial disputes. Left to raise two daughters largely on her own, Tammy's resilience became part of her public identity. When she re-emerged on VH1 in Basketball Wives, she was no longer just a player's wife, she was the drama's central figure. On camera, Tammy's explosive confrontations defined the show. Cast members often described her as unpredictable, capable of switching from calm conversation to verbal warfare in seconds. The infamous 2012 trip to Tahiti cemented her reputation. Tammy's verbal attack on newcomer Keisha Nichols was so intense that Keisha packed her bags and left the trip early. Many viewers were horrified, while others claimed Tammy was simply being real. But here's the question for you. Was Tammy Roman exposing her authentic self, or was she feeding a destructive cycle just to keep the cameras rolling? What made her story more complex was her willingness to open up about her struggles with mental health trauma and therapy. Unlike many reality stars who deflect or deny, Tammy admitted her aggression stemmed from deep pain and unresolved issues. She spoke candidly about growing up in poverty, facing abuse, and feeling the need to constantly defend herself. For some fans, this honesty transformed her from villain to survivor, someone who turned personal wounds into public testimony. Still, the controversy never left her side. Critics argue her televised outbursts perpetuated harmful stereotypes of black women as aggressive and combative. Castmates later revealed how unsafe they felt filming with her, and even years after her departure, stories of emotional scars continued to surface. At the same time, Tammy reinvented herself beyond reality TV. She pursued acting roles in series like The Ms. Pat Show and Truth Be Told, built a successful career as a businesswoman, and maintained her estimated $3.5 million net worth. Now in her 50s, Tammy Roman balances being a mother, wife, and entrepreneur with a reputation she can never quite escape. She has fans who admire her honesty and others who refuse to forgive her televised cruelty. Yet that duality is exactly why she remains unforgettable. Tammy Roman embodies both the dangers and the raw power of living your life under the harsh glare of reality television. Amber Rose. Amber Levanchuk, better known as Amber Rose, was born on October 21, 1983 in Philadelphia. Her rise to fame began not in boardrooms or Hollywood studios, but on the gritty stages of hip-hop. She first gained attention in 2008 after appearing in Young Jeezy and Kanye West's music video, Put On. Her striking bald head and fearless style quickly caught the fashion world's eye, leading to a lucrative modeling contract with Louis Vuitton and features in major magazines. By the late 2000s, Amber was no longer just another video vixen, she had become a cultural phenomenon. Her personal life, however, often overshadowed her modeling. Amber's 2-year romance with Kanye West catapulted her into the spotlight. When their relationship ended, it didn't just fizzle quietly, it imploded. Amber accused Kanye of publicly humiliating her, and years later she clashed with Kim Kardashian in a messy war of words that dominated gossip blogs. In 2013, Amber married rapper Wiz Khalifa, and many thought she had finally found stability. But by 2014, their marriage collapsed after she accused him of cheating reportedly with twin sisters. Their bitter split became one of hip-hop's most publicized divorces. The scandal was raw, emotional, and undeniably messy. Some critics accused Amber of exploiting the drama to stay relevant, while others praised her for refusing to remain silent in a culture that often pressures women to endure betrayal quietly. But let's pause for a second. Was Amber Rose being brutally honest? Or was she using controversy as her most powerful weapon? What makes Amber truly stand out is how she transformed scandal into a platform. Instead of retreating, she leaned into her identity as a feminist and activist. In 2015, she launched the Los Angeles chapter of the Slut Walk, a global protest against sexual violence, double standards, and slut-shaming. Through her foundation, she addressed topics like consent, body positivity, and gender equality issues rarely tackled so openly by celebrities in hip-hop culture. Critics questioned whether someone with such a scandalous reputation could lead a movement, but her supporters argued that her experiences gave her a unique voice of authenticity. Financially, Amber proved she wasn't dependent on anyone. She built an estimated net worth of $12 million through modeling contracts, brand endorsements, acting roles, and business ventures. From hosting her own talk show, The Amber Rose Show on VH1, to creating her eyewear line, she leveraged fame into enterprise. Social media became her kingdom, where her millions of followers turned her every post into a headline. Today, Amber Rose is both loved and loathed. To some, she's a survivor who used pain to spark empowerment. To others, she's a provocateur who thrives on attention. But regardless of opinion, her legacy is undeniable. Amber Rose turned heartbreak into activism, scandal into strategy, and transformed herself from a video model into a global symbol of unapologetic female independence. Karine Steffans. Karine Steffans was born on August 24, 1978 in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. Her early years were marked by hardship, poverty abuse, and an unstable household. By her late teens, she had moved to the United States, where she began dancing in music videos. That was the start of a career that would eventually make her one of the most infamous names in hip-hop culture. Known as the Superhead, Karine appeared in dozens of videos alongside artists like Jay-Z, LL Cool J, and Mystikal, earning a reputation for her striking looks and unapologetic presence. Her fame skyrocketed in 2005 with the release of Confessions of a Video Vixen, a memoir detailing intimate encounters with some of the music industry's most powerful men. The book became a New York Times bestseller and sold over 1 million copies worldwide. To some, it was an act of bravery, exposing the darker side of an industry that often exploited women. To others, it was betrayal, painting beloved rappers and actors in a scandalous light. But regardless of opinion, the book made her wealthy, raising her net worth to around $2 million and cementing her status as an author, unafraid to speak the unspeakable. Her personal life, however, became just as controversial as her writing. In January 2016, she secretly married actor Columbus Short, known for his role on Scandal. Within months, the marriage exploded publicly. By March of that year, Karine was posting photos of Columbus's belongings scattered on the floor, accusing him of cheating with everything moving. She went further, claiming he battled substance abuse and was emotionally destructive. Social media lit up with fans and critics dissecting every tweet and Instagram post. But here's the question for you. Was Karine revealing painful truths, or was she simply using controversy as the fuel that kept her in the headlines? The drama escalated when it was revealed Columbus was still legally married to his previous wife, Tanny Short, at the time. That revelation sparked questions about whether Karine's marriage was even valid. By April 2016, she had filed for a restraining order, but the damage was done. Both their reputations suffered, and the media frenzy further cemented her legacy as someone whose life was forever intertwined with scandal. Since then, Karine has largely stepped out of the spotlight, appearing occasionally on social media and giving sporadic interviews. She has spoken about empowerment, survival, and reclaiming her narrative, yet the shadow of her past never fully disappears. Her books, including The Vixen Diaries and The Vixen Manual, continue to generate debate about whether she was liberating women with honesty or exploiting celebrity secrets for profit. Today, Karine Steffans is remembered as a woman who changed how we view fame, sexuality, and truth-telling in hip-hop. She blurred the line between confession and provocation, leaving the public to decide, was she a whistleblower, bravely unmasking hypocrisy, or a provocateur who built an empire on exposing men's darkest secrets? Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Corinne Pinkett Smith, born on September 18, 1971 in Baltimore, Maryland, built her reputation as an actress, singer, producer, and talk show host long before her name became synonymous with controversy. She studied at the Baltimore School for the Arts, where she was classmates with the late Tupac Shakur, and quickly carved out a career in Hollywood with roles in films like Set It Off 1996, The Nutty Professor 1996, and later the Matrix franchise. With her undeniable talent and business ventures, she amassed a fortune estimated at $50 million. Yet her fame would one day be overshadowed by her personal life. In 1997, Jada married actor and musician Will Smith, and together they became what many called Hollywood's golden couple. For years, the public admired their philanthropy, their children Jaden and Willow, and their ability to thrive under the spotlight. But beneath the polished exterior, cracks began to show. In July 2020, on her talk show, Red Table Talk, Jada addressed rumors that had been swirling for years. She admitted to having a relationship with R&B singer August Alsina while she and Will were separated. She described it as an entanglement, a single word that exploded across social media and changed the way the world viewed her marriage forever. The revelation sparked heated debates. Supporters praised Jada's honesty, while critics accused her of humiliating her husband on a global stage. The episode of Red Table Talk featuring Jada and Will drew more than 15 million views within 24 hours, turning private pain into public spectacle. And for many, this wasn't just gossip. It was a symbol of shifting boundaries around marriage, loyalty, and openness in celebrity culture. But here's the question for you. Did Jada redefine what honesty looks like in a marriage, or did she exploit private struggles for public attention? The ripple effects were massive. Some cultural commentators even linked Jada's confession to Will Smith's infamous Oscars slap in 2022, when he stormed the stage to hit comedian Chris Rock after a joke about Jada's shaved head. The shocking moment seemed to embody years of pent-up frustration, humiliation, and emotional strain. Suddenly, the Smiths, once admired for their composure, were thrust into chaos. Yet Jada has always framed herself as a seeker of truth. Through Red Table Talk, she tackled topics from mental health to generational trauma, earning praise for creating space where difficult conversations could unfold. But detractors argue her platform blurred the line between therapy and performance, raising doubts about authenticity. Even today, Jada remains one of the most divisive women in Hollywood. To some, she is a courageous truth-teller who challenges outdated norms about love and marriage. To others, she represents betrayal, self-interest, and a disregard for privacy. What cannot be denied, however, is that Jada Pinkett Smith continues to command global attention, whether adored or criticized. Her story is not just about scandal, it is about power, vulnerability, and the cost of living unapologetically in the public eye. Keshia Kawar Davis, born on January 10, 1985 in Kingston, Jamaica, is not just the glamorous wife of rapper Gucci Mane. She is a self-made entrepreneur who built her fortune brick by brick. Raised in Florida after immigrating from Jamaica, she first caught attention as a model and video vixen, appearing in music videos that showcased her striking looks and bold style. But unlike many who faded after the spotlight dimmed, Keshia turned visibility into opportunity. By 2011, she launched Kawar Cosmetics, a brand that grew rapidly thanks to its colorful lipsticks and strategic marketing. Within just a few years, her company earned millions, placing her among the most successful Black female entrepreneurs in beauty. Her life took a dramatic turn when she met Radric Gucci Mane Davis on the set of one of his music videos. At the time, Gucci was spiraling, plagued by addiction, multiple arrests, and unpredictable behavior that left even his fans doubting his future. Most women would have walked away. Keshia didn't. She chose to stay beside him even through his 3-year prison sentence beginning in 2014. While Gucci served time, Keshia expanded her empire with Kawar Fitness, selling products like the Waist Eraser that became a sensation among celebrities and fans alike. By the time he was released in May 2016, Keshia had transformed her brand into a multi-million-dollar business. Her decision to stay loyal shocked the industry. Some accused her of clout chasing, saying she used Gucci's fame to boost her profile. But the numbers told another story. Her net worth, estimated at $20 million, was proof she was far more than just a rapper's wife. But here's the question for you. Was Keshia Kawar's loyalty an act of true love, Or was it the smartest business move of her career? In October 2017, Gucci and Keishia's wedding became a cultural moment. The lavish Miami ceremony broadcast on BET reportedly cost $1. $7 million with a diamond bouquet and a crystal-encrusted gown that turned heads worldwide. Fans admired how Gucci emerged from prison healthier and more focused, crediting Keishia with guiding his transformation. Together, they welcomed their son Ice Davis in December 2020, further solidifying their bond as a power couple. Yet criticism followed her every move. Skeptics questioned why she flaunted expensive cars and jewelry while openly discussing Gucci's past struggles. Rumors swirled about children she allegedly had before Gucci, which she strongly denied. Still, Keishia never backed down. Instead, she leaned into her image as both a devoted wife and a boss who built an empire while standing by her man. Today, Keishia Kawar is celebrated as the embodiment of resilience and ambition. She redefined what it means to be a hip-hop wife, turning loyalty into legacy and controversy into credibility. Whether you see her as a modern-day ride-or-die or a master strategist, one fact remains clear. She is a woman who never let circumstances dictate her destiny. Sabrina Traoré. Elba, born on July 16, 1989 in New York and raised in Montreal, Canada, has lived a life that blends glamour with grit. With Somali heritage and Canadian upbringing, she carried a cultural duality that shaped her worldview. After graduating from Howard University with a degree in English in 2011, Sabrina entered the world of modeling. By 2014, she was crowned Miss Vancouver, stepping onto international runways and gracing magazine covers like Du Jour and Ebony. She later ventured into acting, landing small roles in films such as Molly's Game and 3,000 Years of Longing, gradually carving her own space in the entertainment industry. Her career achievements alone were notable, but the moment that truly defined her public image came on April 26, 2019, when she married British superstar actor Idris Elba in a stunning Moroccan ceremony. The wedding was lavish, filled with celebrity guests and photos that went viral across social media. Yet instead of universal celebration, Sabrina found herself at the center of controversy. Much of the backlash came not from outsiders, but from within the Black community itself. Critics accused Idris of choosing a light-skinned woman, sparking fierce debates about colorism and authenticity in Black love. The attacks were vicious. Social media threads tore her apart, not for her accomplishments, but for her skin tone. Many Black women expressed disappointment, saying Idris, long considered one of the most desirable men in Hollywood, had overlooked darker-skinned women. This toxic conversation reduced Sabrina to a symbol in a war over beauty standards and identity politics, overshadowing her individuality. But here's a question for you. Was Sabrina unfairly judged for simply falling in love, or did her marriage highlight deeper wounds about representation in Black relationships? Through it all, Sabrina remained poised. She refused to respond with anger, instead focusing on advocacy work. Alongside Idris, she became a UN Goodwill Ambassador for the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, championing global food security and health issues. During the COVID-19 pandemic, when both she and Idris tested positive, she used her platform to advocate for equitable vaccine distribution, further proving she was more than just Idris Elba's wife. Financially, Sabrina has built her own stability with an estimated net worth of around $4 million, thanks to modeling, acting, and business ventures. She has also used her influence to spotlight African designers, mental health awareness, and women's empowerment, steadily building her identity outside of her marriage. Today, Sabrina Traoré Elba continues to live with grace amid scrutiny. To some, she represents resilience in the face of unjust criticism. To others, her marriage symbolizes a painful reminder of society's biases. Yet one thing is undeniable. Sabrina's story isn't just about being Idris Elba's wife, it is about a woman who turned controversy into courage and continues to walk tall with dignity. Diane Abbott. Born on January 1, 1945 in New York City, entered the entertainment industry at a time when black women had very limited opportunities on screen. Her earliest roles came in the 1970s, a period where Hollywood often typecast women of color into small or stereotypical parts. Yet Diane's natural charisma and talent quickly made her stand out. She appeared in iconic films such as Taxi Driver 1976, playing a ticket clerk opposite Robert De Niro, and The King of Comedy 1982, further establishing herself as an actress with depth and presence. She also showcased her musical abilities singing in Martin Scorsese's New York, New York 1977. But beyond her acting career, Diane Abbott became best known for her marriage to Robert De Niro. The two wed on April 28, 1976, at a time when interracial relationships in Hollywood were still far from mainstream. Their union, which lasted until 1988, made headlines not only because De Niro was one of the most acclaimed actors of his generation, but also because society was still grappling with racial divides. Diane suddenly found herself scrutinized not only as an actress, but also as a black woman, married to one of America's most famous white men. The marriage sparked constant speculation. Some questioned whether Diane's acting opportunities were linked to De Niro's influence. Others criticized her appearance, questioning her worthiness as his partner. These doubts reflected more about the prejudices of the time than about Diane herself. Still, the pressure was immense. She was navigating her own career while simultaneously being reduced to De Niro's black wife. But let's pause here. How would you feel if your personal relationship became a battleground for society's racial insecurities? Despite the challenges, Diane handled the spotlight with quiet dignity. She gave birth to their son, Rafael De Niro, in 1976, who would later become a successful real estate broker in New York. She also became stepmother to De Niro's adopted daughter, Drenna, further solidifying her role as both a mother and a figure of stability in a turbulent industry. Their marriage ended in 1988 after 12 years, but Diane's resilience never wavered. Unlike many who faded after divorce from a famous spouse, she continued to work, albeit more quietly, in the entertainment field. She took supporting roles in films and focused on raising her family. Her presence in De Niro's early career remains undeniable. She stood by him during his rise to stardom, enduring criticism that few other Hollywood wives of the era would have faced. Today, Diane Abbott is remembered not only for her film roles, but also for her courage in breaking silent barriers. She represented a shift in how interracial marriages were viewed, particularly in a highly visible industry like Hollywood. To many, she paved the way for future couples who could love freely without carrying the same weight of scrutiny. Her story is one of persistence, quiet strength, and grace under pressure, qualities that turned her into one of the most quietly controversial yet deeply influential black wives in modern history. Grace Hightower. Grace Hightower, born on April 7, 1955, in Kilmichael, Mississippi, began her life far from the glitz of Hollywood. Raised in a working-class family, she took on various jobs from flight attendant to restaurant worker before stepping into the worlds of acting, philanthropy, and eventually the social elite. By the mid-1990s, her path crossed with Robert De Niro, one of the greatest actors of his generation, and from that moment on, Grace's name would forever be tied to both love and controversy. She and De Niro married in 1997 in a star-studded New York wedding. Unlike De Niro's previous marriage to Diane Abbott, Grace's union was even more tumultuous. Their marriage became a cycle of love, separation, reconciliation, and renewed vows, often playing out in front of the media. Only 2 years after tying the knot, De Niro filed for divorce in 1999 and even sued for custody of their son Elliot. Yet, in a shocking twist, the divorce was never finalized. By 2004, the couple had reconciled and renewed their vows in another lavish ceremony attended by celebrities and political figures. Despite the glamorous appearances, rumors swirled about the darker side of their relationship. Reports claimed Grace was controlling, even manipulative, influencing De Niro's financial and professional decisions. Their disputes came to a head again in 2018 when De Niro confirmed they had separated after more than 2 decades together. Court documents revealed ugly financial battles De Niro claimed he had to keep working at an advanced age just to sustain Grace's extravagant lifestyle. The public began to see her not as a supportive partner, but as a woman demanding more than her share. But here's a question for you. Was Grace Hightower a victim of unfair stereotypes about strong black women, or did her actions truly paint her as controlling in her marriage? While her personal life drew headlines, Grace built a separate legacy. She acted in films like Precious 2009 and worked as a philanthropist, focusing on humanitarian causes in Africa. She founded the charity Grace Hightower and Coffees of Rwanda, a socially responsible business that supported Rwandan farmers and promoted sustainable trade. Her dedication to international development and women's empowerment stood in sharp contrast to the tabloid stories about her marriage. Her wealth, estimated around $50 million, symbolized both her business ventures and her connection to De Niro. Critics argued she benefited too heavily from his name, while supporters emphasized her independent achievements and philanthropic spirit. Today, Grace Hightower remains a woman of contradictions. To some, she is the embodiment of elegance and determination, someone who rose from humble beginnings to build influence on a global stage. To others, she is the estranged wife whose public battles with De Niro overshadowed her humanitarian work. Regardless of perspective, Grace's story highlights the unique challenges faced by black women who marry into extreme wealth and fame, where devotion, ambition, and controversy intertwine under an unforgiving spotlight. Michelle Obama. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson. Obama, born on January 17, 1964 in Chicago, Illinois, grew up on the South Side in a working-class family. From the very beginning, she defied the odds. Excelling in school, she earned a bachelor's degree in sociology from Princeton University in 1985, and later a law degree from Harvard Law School in 1988. By her mid-20s, Michelle was already working at Sidley & Austin, a top law firm where she met a young summer associate named Barack Obama. Their partnership, professional, romantic, and eventually political, would change the face of American history. When Barack Obama ran for president in 2008, Michelle was thrust into the national spotlight. Despite her impressive resume as a lawyer, hospital administrator, and nonprofit executive, the media focused heavily on her words, style, and presence. At a campaign event in February 2008, she remarked, "For the first time in my adult life, I am really proud of my country." Conservative outlets seized on that comment, branding her as unpatriotic and fueling stereotypes of the so-called angry black woman. What was meant as a hopeful expression of change became a lightning rod for political attacks. As First Lady from 2009 to 2017, Michelle launched initiatives like Let's Move to combat childhood obesity and joining forces to support military families. She championed education for girls through Let Girls Learn. Yet even these efforts faced intense politicization. Critics claimed her nutrition campaign was government overreach, while others mocked her sleeveless dresses, reducing her powerful image to petty debates over fashion. The scrutiny reflected deeper discomfort with a black woman occupying one of the most visible roles in American society. But let's pause for a moment. Why do powerful women of color so often face harsher judgment for the same qualities celebrated in others? Despite relentless criticism, Michelle Obama turned pressure into power. Her 2018 memoir, Becoming, sold more than 15 million copies worldwide, becoming one of the best-selling autobiographies of all time. Together with Barack, she signed a $65 million publishing and media deal, launched the Netflix production company Higher Ground, and built a combined net worth of approximately $70 million. Beyond wealth and influence, Michelle carved out her own voice through her podcast, her speeches, and her advocacy for civic engagement with the When We All Vote initiative. Even after leaving the White House, she remained one of the most admired women in the world, consistently topping Gallup polls. Her authenticity, warmth, and resilience continue to resonate globally, especially with women and young people of color who see her as proof that excellence can exist despite prejudice. Today, Michelle Obama stands not just as a former First Lady, but as a cultural icon who redefined what it means to be both powerful and compassionate in the public eye. She weathered criticism that could have broken others and emerged stronger, reminding us that grace under fire is itself a form of revolution. These 10 women prove that being powerful, black, and visible comes with a price: admiration on one side and relentless controversy on the other. Were they victims of unfair stereotypes or architects of their own scandals? The truth may never be simple, but what's certain is that their stories force us to confront uncomfortable questions about race, gender, and fame in ways no one else can. So tell me, which of these women do you believe was misunderstood, and who truly crossed the line? Share your thoughts below and join the debate only here on Legends of Black Excellence.